Ah, come on in. Take a seat. Dr. Vlogdan will see you now. Yes, that's right. If you're watching last week, you'll have seen the news that I've become an official Agony Uncle, having passed the exams to become one at the International School for Agony Aunts and Uncles. Here's my diploma. So I asked you to send in any problems that you might have, and luckily enough, some of you did. So I'm hoping I can help. Let's start with my very first ever letter to my new practice. It's from Tim Heed, who lives in Kent. And I happen to know this story is 100% true. They all are, but this one definitely is. Dear Dr. Vlogdan, I wonder if you can help me sort out an awkward situation with my neighbour. The other night, I went out into the playing field behind our house for a quiet cigarette at about 1 a.m. before bed. Now, there's a small communal garden that I have to cross before I can get to the playing field, and on my way back it was very dark, but in the shadows I suddenly saw an elderly man entirely naked in the garden. I shouted out to him and he ran away, and at this point I realised it was my next door neighbour. I went inside, and about 10 minutes later there was a knock at our door. He told me he had been inside for a few minutes ago and heard me shout something, so he looked out the window and saw someone behaving suspiciously, but it definitely wasn't him because he'd been asleep. But it definitely was. I saw him walk back to his garden and everything. I know it was him. He knows it was him. Does this story he gave me give us room to carry on communicating as if nothing has happened? Or do I need to call the police? Thanks, Tim. Well, Tim, a fascinating story. As far as I'm concerned, in my experience, naturists are normally very nice, very welcoming, very calm people, quite proud of their naturism, very friendly. So it's strange that he's concocted this lie, almost as if he's feeling a bit ashamed. I personally would have used an excuse of sleepwalking. I find that works very well. I think for now, just carry on as normal. Pretend as if you believe the story. But I do think some actions are needed. I would start putting secret cameras up in the communal garden. If anyone catches you, just say that you're filming for Springwatch. You're friends perhaps with Chris Packham, and you're trying to get some shots of some local badgers or foxes or other nocturnal creatures. And then if anything weird is going on, anything illegal, any illegal activities, you can turn that footage over to the police and let them deal with it. Or alternatively, there may be a market for that kind of thing on the dark web. So I've heard. Hope that helps, Tim. Okay, our next letter comes from Matt Walton, regular watcher Matt Walton. Hi Dan, he says. That's Dr. Vlogdan, Matt, in future. But continue. I've got a serious problem. My family seems to disagree with me when I say that the kitchen sink is magical. I'm certain I'm right, but it seems only to work for me. You see, whenever I put my washing up in the kitchen sink, within the next couple of days, those dirty dishes magically disappear and reappear as clean ones in the cupboard. It's simply amazing. The rest of my family seem to know something I don't about this magic, and they won't tell me what it is. Can you help me? It's tearing my family apart. Well, thank you very much, Matt. It's a sad story, but it is a common problem in many households. I'm glad you've written to me, Matt, because your family are protecting you from quite a dark truth. And that truth doesn't involve fairies, and it doesn't involve magic. I'll be honest with you, Matt, it involves incredible laziness on your part. It's actually got to the stage now where you can't even really believe that anyone else would do any housework. The idea of it is so alien to you because of your laziness, you cannot fathom that other people in the house would do something similar. I think you've got a really warm, loving family there, Matt. You're very lucky how they're treating you. But if they won't tell you, I will. Matt, you are an awful family member and a terrible housemate. Start doing your share of the housework. This here is a tutorial for people that don't know how to wash up, Matt. Watch it. I've put a link at the end and you'll soon heal those rifts in your family. Thanks for writing in. Our third letter this week comes from Marcus Farthing. He says, Dear Dr. Vlogdan, I'm in lockdown with my parents and they're often asking for film recommendations for us to watch. I've been trying to introduce some foreign language films such as Parasite and Pan's Labyrinth, both excellent choices, Marcus, but they can't seem to get over the barrier of reading subtitles and watching simultaneously. It's frustrating as I know they'd enjoy loads of foreign language films. Any advice? Big fan of Football Legends. Thanks, Marcus. Yes, thanks, Marcus. Football Legends is a brilliant podcast, isn't it? It's made by Message Heard, stars me along with John Smith, Robbie Knox, and former footballer Martin Gritton. It's free, exclusively on Spotify. It's one of the best podcasts out there, particularly if you're a football fan, but even if you're not. And of course, it's based on the book, Booked, The Gospel According to Our Football Heroes, which was written by me and my friend John Smith and is available on Amazon and in all good bookshops. Thank you for mentioning that, Marcus. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, your parents. Now, this is a common thing among parents of a certain age, I find. They won't have hip-hop in the house. They're suspicious of garlicky food. They think long hair is for girls. They don't like tats of any kind. They don't like women talking about football. They miss John Menzies. And they will not watch foreign language films. It's very difficult to break that habit, Marcus. Here's what I suggest. It will be hard and it will be tough on them, but take inspiration from another classic film which they likely haven't watched, A Clockwork Orange. Tie them to a couple of chairs, force open their eyelids with matchsticks or with if you've got any other implement that will force them open, and then make them watch Sex and the City 2 on a loop until they agree to watch a foreign language film. I mean, if they can get through that more than twice without screaming for a bit of Bong Joon-ho, then you can probably have them committed, and then you can watch whatever films you like in the house whenever you like. Thanks for writing in, Marcus. And our final letter this week in the first post bag for Dr. Vlogdan comes from Bobby Mox of Kent. He says, Dear Vlogdan, I am a successful YouTuber with nearly 80,000 subs. Life should be great. However, after encouraging a friend of mine to become a YouTuber too, I agreed to take part in some of his videos to help him get a leg up in the YouTube game. Basically, we take each other on at different sports and games. It's just for fun. But so far, he's beaten me every time. I'm much more successful, likeable and better looking than him, but those continual losses are getting me down and make me feel a bit worthless. What should I do? Thanks. And then he's crossed out Robbie and put Bobby. Well, Bobby, life is complex, isn't it? You know, we can't win at everything. It's very kind of you to help out this bright young YouTuber, who I must say sounds like a real top bloke, really nice guy. I bet his content is properly fresh. But you mustn't get too upset about how he constantly thrashes you at whatever games it is you're playing. I mean, I'm thinking it might be things like shuffleboard and crazy golf, things like that. Even when perhaps he hasn't played those games before, and you're supposed to be an expert at them. I think you need to be a good friend. Take it well, and perhaps tell your subs, your 80,000 subs, that there might be a channel that's perhaps even better than yours that they might like to watch and tune into and subscribe to and support financially. The feeling of well-being you get from that will far outweigh the sad feelings you're getting from constantly getting beaten by this very nice person. Right, well, that is the last letter. Well, I've really enjoyed my first week as an agony uncle. Perhaps we'll do this again sometime. Do send me your problems at any time you like. You can put them in the comments below, or perhaps I'll set up an email address and we can do this again in a few weeks. Thanks very much. The surgery is closed.